Welcome to Madrid Reviews. This is your host, Christian Madrid, and on today's video, we're going to be talking about him. Let's get to the review now, yo. Alright, y'all, let's get into this. So I just saw him, and it's meh. It's not terrible, but it's not very good. I'm a little disappointed with the film because I was actually excited to watch this movie, as the trailer looked great and the premise, it had promise, but it just didn't live up to its full potential. It's very rare when sports and horror collide for a movie. This is one of those exceptions, but I wouldn't say one of the good exceptions. Justin Tippin, he did an alright job directing this movie, as he's got vision, he's got ambition, and he's got a creative mind. But he can use some work putting together a compelling story. The writing offers an interesting premise, but the execution was shit. It wasn't that good. Story and direction this movie decides to go into, I wasn't a big fan of, and it turned out to be just kind of stupid. This movie isn't boring, and it has its entertaining moments, but it's a movie that prioritizes style over substance. I mean, it's great to incorporate your own style and stuff. It makes movies very creative. But it's got to have some kind of substance. I felt this movie had no substance whatsoever. The dialogue was very cheesy and pretty dumb in this film. Like, sometimes they would say, like, stupid lines, and it would be funny because it was so fucking stupid, not funny because it was actually a funny line. The third act of this movie was fucking atrocious, as it was very bad. And what this movie was leading up to, like, towards the end, it was just stupid and made little to no sense. Like, what the fuck? Like, that was my reaction when I saw it. I was like, what the fuck? I wasted an hour and a half watching this shit. But it's not a terrible movie. It had its moments, it had its entertaining moments, but the acting was decent in this movie, as Marlon Wayans, he does give a good performance. He's definitely one of the better parts of this movie. But everyone else in the cast just fails to keep up. Marlon Wayans, he's a very talented actor. He did great in Requiem for a Dream and the Scary movies and White Chicks. And he carries this film for sure. The cinematography and visual effects are two of my favorite aspects of this movie, as the movie is beautifully shot and the CGI is on point, and visually, this movie is visually pleasing to look at. I just wish the effort was put into the story like it was into the visuals. It would have made a much better movie. The production design had some great and compelling set pieces. Sound effects were pretty good, but the soundtrack was very lackluster and played some pretty forgettable songs for the most part in this movie. The editing feels very rushed. It's not a slow movie, at least I didn't think it was. But I feel it's too short and tries to cram in a lot of story in a short amount of time. And I think definitely some rewrites for this film, to make it longer, one, and two, would have drawn out the characters and the story. It would have worked for this film's benefit. Overall, him has an interesting concept, horribly executed, but if you want to check it out for yourself, go right ahead. It is an original idea. I will give him that, not one of the better ones, but then again, it is harder to make original work than to just, make IPs, remakes, sequels, reboots, whatever the fuck, Making movies like this is much harder, so I will give, the people who are behind this, film credit where it's due. And I can't believe Jordan Peele, he decided to fucking attach his name to this movie. Now I can understand why he fired his team for, passing up and not getting him Weapons, but instead got him this shit. Weapons is one of the best horror movies of the year, and him is nowhere near that list. But anyways, I'm giving this film a D-. I don't think it's total dog shit, but we're eating pretty bad watching this movie. It's like Burger King type shit. Alright, y'all, that's the end of the video. Don't forget to hit that like button, comment on whether you have seen this movie or excited to see it. And if you've seen it, let me know your thoughts. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, alerts to know when I drop a new review. Appreciate you all for watching. See you on the next one. Have a good morning, afternoon, or night, whatever time you watch this. Thank you so much. Taking the time out of your busy day to watch me talk about movies. Thank you. Bye-bye.